Jennifer. Welcome back to my Flagstaff home. This is a little bit different video for this channel, but I thought I would tell you about an experience that I had, and that is moving to Florida. We lived in Florida for a total of 1 year, and I thought I would do a video of 5 things you should know before moving to Florida. Please know, this is not about alligators and hurricanes. I mean, I am going to talk a little bit about that, but that's no surprise, right? Everybody knows Florida has alligators and hurricanes, but we were genuinely surprised by several things. And in hindsight, I wish we had known so we could have made a more informed choice. So I'm not trying to talk you out of moving to Florida. I just want to give you some information so you can look into it for yourself. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is cost of living. This was the biggest shock to us. We had no idea. Flagstaff, Arizona, where we live, is a tourist town in the mountains of Arizona where it's nice and cool. And, some people don't even have air conditioning units in their house because the weather doesn't get very hot and everything. So I live in this lovely tourist town, have lived in Flagstaff for a long time, and it's got a high cost of living. So I thought, how in the world could any place be more expensive than where I currently live? And, it seemed like housing prices were comparable, but that is not where it hit us. It hit us in a lot of really unexpected areas. First of all, people in Florida talk about their no Florida state tax as being like this ultimate money saver. But they're not going to go without fixing bridges and roads and sidewalks. They have to get their money from somewhere. And so what hit us really hard was our property tax. I think we were paying a little less than $3,000 a year for property tax in Flagstaff. And initially, our property tax in Florida, which was outside of Tampa in the Clearwater area, we were about 3 miles from the beach. It initially was $8,400 a year. And then they have a thing that you can do for your property. It's called homesteading. You basically just prove that that is your primary residence. And once you do that, your property tax drops, and ours dropped down to $4,700 a year. Now, let me just give you a little bit more context here. The house that we had lived in Flagstaff before we moved, was 2,400 square feet. The house that we lived in, that we bought in Florida, was 1,700 square feet. That's going to make a difference when I tell you a little bit about homeowners insurance. But anyway, so it was a big increase in property tax. Also, our homeowners insurance increased. In fact, our insurance company that we'd been with forever didn't even cover anyone in Florida. So we had to find a different insurance company. And so homeowners insurance is significantly higher, not only because of hurricanes, but because of other extreme weather that they have. And I'll be talking about that a little later in this video. So our homeowners insurance right now in a 2,600 square foot house is $650 a year. And our homeowners insurance in Florida was $3,300 a year. So just huge difference. Grocery store prices, it made Whole Foods look like a discount store. And then gas prices were a little lower than Arizona when we moved there, but they climbed while we were there. Restaurant prices were actually in some cases better than Arizona, or better than Flagstaff, but grocery store prices crazy. All of our utilities higher. In fact, $200, $205 a month more for insuring our cars. And our basic bills went up $1,400 a month instantly. So we were genuinely shocked by that. Okay, so the second thing you need to consider is the weather. Now, of course, there are hurricanes. We went through a hurricane while we were there. It wasn't terrible. Although the year after we had already gone, both my brother and my niece got 5 feet of water in their homes. They lived near the water. And so there can definitely be some really bad consequences to hurricanes. We ended up not having any damage, but we were 3 miles away, and it wasn't a very it wasn't a very strong hurricane. We went through Hurricane Idalia in the summer of 2023. So anyway, but of course everyone knows that. What we didn't expect was tornadoes all year long. And I can't tell you how many times, my husband would be at work and I get some tornado warning on my phone. I'm scooping up my pets, putting them in the laundry room, and all year long. Now, one time a tornado came through my neighborhood. It did not hit anyone on my street. It did hit 3 houses to my knowledge, but just the surrounding winds from that tornado took this, we had a metal pergola. It had a canvas top, metal sides that were bolted into concrete. It took that pergola and twisted it, ripped the canvas, twisted the metal. I mean, there was no fixing it. We just had to take it apart and take it to the dump. So that happened all year long. Hurricane season does last 6 months. It begins at the beginning of June and goes to the end of November. When my brother and my niece got flooded out this last fall, it was October when that hurricane hit them. And so it lasts a long time. And the heat and humidity, I mean, it is legit humidity, you guys. I've been to a lot of places where there's humid weather. I've been a lot of places in the East Coast. I've been to the Caribbean. Florida humidity is like nothing I have ever experienced before. And that lasts a long time. So I've expected that once you got through hurricane season, that the weather would be nice for the rest of the year. But it's really not. It's kind of chilly and drizzly and wet, and you have a few nice days here and there. Really, the only nice months are November and April. And we had been there numerous times, but not in, I guess we did go one time to visit my brother in January, and it was rainy. And we should have taken a clue from that that's what winter is like. It's chilly and rainy and not beautiful and sunny like you might think. So, yeah, weather. It was absolutely crazy. Okay, the next thing you need to be aware of is critters or wildlife. And yes, I am going to talk a little bit about alligators, but hang in here with me because there is something really important you need to know about if you have dogs. I mean, really important. So just hang with me here in this video. So of course there are alligators. We had 2 that lived in a pond about a half mile from our house. There was an apartment complex, and beside it there was a pond, and we would see them sunning themselves. During the winter, they would come out to get warm, and so we knew that they were there. On the Nextdoor app, several times people would post that a friend's dog just got snatched by an alligator. So you hear about all that kind of stuff. And then this was crazy. About 12 miles from our house in a residential neighborhood, there was there's a news report. It was all over the news. Residential neighborhood, children riding their bikes behind the reporter as he's reporting on this. They found the torso of a 41-year-old woman in the mouth of a 13-foot alligator. This alligator was just cruising down the street with half of a person in its mouth. They had set up a GoFundMe page to help the daughter raise money for a funeral for her mom. I mean, you have to be careful if you're going to be around bodies of not ocean water. In addition to that, there's several things I'm going to tell you about, but this is the really important thing, is that in Florida, they have this thing called the cane toad, and they're also known as bufo frogs. They used them, they're native to, I think, South America. They use them in sugar cane fields to keep pests away. These suckers grow to be like 9 inches long and huge. And they will eat bugs, they'll eat small birds, they'll eat mice and rats and lizards. and they eat their own kind. So the babies come out during the day and the adults come out at night, because if the babies came out at night, they'd get eaten by their parents. And these guys have, not only do they eat these animals, but they have these, they have a toxin on their skin. They've got these pockets on the back of their neck that hold this toxin. And if a dog licks a cane toad, it will be dead in 15 minutes. No joke. Our first visit to the vet with our dog, they gave us paperwork about this, told us what to do in case our dog got a hold of one. And after you do what they tell you to do, like just get in your car and haul to the vet, and maybe they can save your animal. All right. So you're thinking, yeah, but how often do you run into these? We killed. Now I'm going to say I'm an animal rights person. I don't believe in cruelty to animals. The state of these toads are non-native, they're invasive, and the state of Florida says, please do not relocate these. Humanely kill them. I don't know exactly what humanely kill means. Maybe painless, maybe fast. I don't know. My husband did the fast way. I did the painless way. But anyway, we ended up killing 25 of these toads in our backyard. Yes, in our backyard. And we didn't find out about them. No one told us about them until the day we moved in. And so, yeah. We also had problems with termites, wasps, fruit rats, termites wasn't. We found a big 5-foot snake under some leaves in our backyard. It wasn't poisonous. It was just a garter snake, but huge. And then, of course, there's mosquitoes and no-see-ums. Everyone has like a cage or a big screened-in area over their swimming pool. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to sit outside. And then don't even think about going to the beach at sunset. We thought that would be a really great idea to go watch the sunset on the beach. They have these things called sand fleas that come out at sunset, and they will bite your lower legs. And John didn't react the way I did, but I ended up with these quarter-sized blisters that bubbled up. And as a nice souvenir for my time living in Florida, I came home with 13 scars on my lower legs from sand fleas. So anyway, just be prepared and know that you always need to have insect repellent. There's a thing called the bug bite thing. I think that's what it's called, the bug bite thing. It's like this little suction thing. And so if you get bit by something, you can do that, and it kind of sucks the venom, or not venom, but whatever it is that mosquitoes put in you. It sucks it out so that you can get rid of the mosquito bite faster. So just be prepared for that, and always be on the lookout for some of these potentially harmful creatures, and especially watch out for your dog. Oh, and I will tell you that one night we went out looking for my dog. She went outside, and we're like, she's been out there a long time. We'd been there a week, and she was chasing an 8-inch cane toad. Yeah. So it's the real deal. Okay. The next thing is about humidity, but this is the cost of humidity, and specifically the damage that humidity can cause. So if you're not familiar, if you're coming from the West or someplace that doesn't have extreme humidity or long periods of high humidity, then this is something to consider. Because anything that you have outside is going to rust or rot if it's made of metal or wood and is outside for any length of time. You'll notice a lot of people have sort of a tinge of green or black in places on the outside of their house. I don't know if that's like a moss, or it's not furry, it's not fuzzy. It sort of looks like algae to me, but algae would be underwater, I guess. So our sidewalk going up to our house was always green in the summer, and our concrete slab in the backyard patio area was always green or black. And we had a fence that we had to spray bleach and water solution on because it would start to turn green. So there's that stuff. But if you put a wood chair out in your lawn and you leave it there, it is likely, more than likely, to end up having termites. We had some metal things that were outside that we ended up having to get rid of that rusted in the time we were there. And just plan on getting a new grill every year, a new barbecue grill, because we kept ours under the overhang of our patio and we kept a cover over it when we weren't using it. And it was completely rusted out by the end of the year. So we came with this really nice, it wasn't brand new, but it was a nice grill, and it was unusable by the time we left. So you just need to keep in mind that, I mean, maybe it would have been better for us to keep that in the garage, but I don't know. It was just nuts. So yeah, there are some costs involved with the damage that can be caused by humidity. And then the last thing has to do with hair. Now, if you are blessed with having straight hair that does not frizz, or you have long curly hair and you like to wear it curly, then this is not going to apply to you. My hair frizzes really easily. I do have very naturally curly hair, and had my hair been longer, I would have worn it curly. But my hair shrinks about 7 or 8 inches when I let it go curly, and that would have just given me a curly puff on my head. Wasn't attractive. So, but it's seriously humid. And so my saving grace when I was there was watching the Blowout Professor on YouTube. This guy has a salon in Fort Myers, Florida. He understands frizzy hair, and he gives recommendations for products that are good for people with fine hair, medium hair, and coarse hair, and what to do and how to manage it. I found a few products, I will list them in the description box, that helped sort of. I could get my hair to look decent for a few hours. The other thing that I got was a portable, I was able to put it in my purse, like straightening brush, so that if I was someplace and my hair started to do weird things, I could go in the bathroom, flip this thing on, and run it through my hair to kind of try to get the frizz to go away. And but most of the time when we lived there, I wore my hair in a clip or a baseball cap, because it was better in the winter than in the summer, because my hair tends to in the summer, it just looks awful and frizzy. In the winter, my hair will kind of wave and do some things, but it looks a little bit cuter. I never really liked it, but there's something about cool humidity and hot humidity that really does affect my hair in different ways. So like I said, I will list the products that were successful for me. I have very fine hair, and so just so you know, but the Blowout Professor on YouTube was a super helpful resource. So all that to say, you guys, I am not trying to discourage anyone from moving to Florida. We did have a couple of things that were wonderful. We found a great church, and our neighbors were the best people on the planet. Really. They were so wonderful, and it was actually really hard to leave them because we had made such good friends. So I just think that everyone needs to be prepared for some of these things. Make phone calls, find out how much homeowners insurance is going to be, find out how much your car insurance is going to be. Go there, visit grocery stores, take a look at things, see how it compares to where you currently live. And then you can make a more informed choice about where you live. So anyway, at the end of all of that, it was 365 days later, we decided to throw in the towel. I don't think I even mentioned this at the beginning, that my husband's line of work pays less in Florida than it does here. So that was tough. But anyway, he got his old job back in Flagstaff, and we moved back, and we are, while I'm glad that we had that experience, and it was great to be around our family for a year. I just have to say that we are really enjoying the beautiful Flagstaff mountains, the quiet, the quiet nights and our beautiful scenery and dry air. So anyway, you guys, if you have any comments or questions, just go ahead and leave your comments or questions. As always, thanks for joining my Flagstaff home. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and be sure to subscribe. We'll see you again on my Flagstaff home.